What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 stocks to buy this week in the stock market. And I also want to refresh your memory because I know some of you guys forget. Heck, I forget sometimes too. I want to go over what happened last week in the market, taking a look here at SPY, which is an S&P 500 ETF. And we're also going to be going over where my head is at right now as a trader, as an investor, in this crazy time period that we're currently living in. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group, get yourself 4 stocks from WeBull and $30 from M1 Finance. All of those are free and linked right down below in the description box. So let's get into it, guys. This right here, again, is SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. And based on what we're seeing here on the 4-hour chart, we're seeing a healthy pull down, right? This is what I've been calling for in these videos in literally the past 10, 14 days. I've been saying we need a pull down, and now the markets are finally doing just that, right? We can see very clearly we saw a top on the SPY ETF here at 382 roughly, and we actually struggled at that point. You guys can see it here on the 10-day chart for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days pretty much. And on the 6th day, we failed breaking out of 382 yet again, and we ended up dumping off, which pretty much confirmed this level as a very strong resistance since we failed breaking out. And again, we dropped below that point, and now we're trading in the mid 370s. And going back to that 4-hour chart, this is actually putting us right in that healthy pullback area, like I said earlier in this video, right around 372. And like I always say, guys, pullbacks are healthy. Nothing can go up and up and up and away nonstop, and that is what we're seeing here. So for SPY this week, and by the way, guys, Monday, tomorrow, is Martin Luther King Day, so the market is closed. So on Tuesday through Friday this week, we're going to be watching 372 to 373 on SPY. That was a resistance back from the 8th of December, the 17th of December, and on the 30th of December, and honestly, for a couple of days at the end of December, 372, 373 was a resistance. And on top of that, 180 SMA, the 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, is right around 372. So needless to say, if 372 can hold, this very well could be where the SPY ETF and the markets in general, maybe they bounce off and go back to all-time highs, right? This is where we could see that happen. And let's say we don't hold the 180 SMA. If 370 breaks free and clear, we go down 368, 365. Where could we be going? Honestly, guys, another big level would be right around 358, maybe 360. That could be another point to watch out for. And mind you, I mean, 382 down to about 375. That is nothing, guys. That is a pull down of just 2-3%. So I wouldn't even be surprised if 370 broke to 360. That would be a bigger pull down of about 6%, which even then, 6% is not much either, considering back in March and in other times of selling off, we've seen a lot bigger pull downs than just that. So that is the market rundown and just an update of what's been going on, what happened last week. I'd love to know what you guys have to think about the markets in general. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to know. And if you guys enjoy the video, find value in it, don't forget, hit that like button. And don't also forget, guys, don't you forget to subscribe to the channel as well. So let's get into these top stocks. And my favorite time period is coming up. It comes up 4 times a year. And honestly, every time an earnings season is over and then a couple weeks goes by. It feels like nothing goes by, and then it's already earnings season again. And here we are. It's earnings season, guys. And earnings season, like I said, is one of my most favorite times in the markets because we get to see what these big companies out there and the smaller guys, of course, you got to show the smaller guys love too. But for all of these companies, we get to see what they do in terms of revenue, EPS, their forward-looking guidance, whether or not the guidance is better than what was expected, worse, what's the management team saying about the company. We get to see a lot of awesome things. And this week is the start of a lot of these big names coming in and reporting. Number one is Netflix, ticker symbol NFLX. This is obviously a company that very much benefited from the CV, the shutdown. Everybody and their grandmother was watching Netflix or some sort of streaming service, and most people out there have Netflix, right? And Netflix did very well, and it's honestly, it's been stagnant ever since this summer here in the U.S., right? I know other places summer's different, but here in the U.S., summer is July, right? And July, in the middle of July, ever since then, we've been stagnant from 575 to 470, back to 575, back to 470, and now we're chilling right around $500. And again, we've just been moving back and forth from about 470 to 570. And in between these time periods, we've also seen, ever since July, we've also seen a big resistance at about 511, 510. And you guys can see that is where we got rejected back in the beginning of December, beginning of November, back in the beginning of August. And this past week, we got hit there. We failed breaking out. We failed breaking out of this 50 SMA 4-hour chart. And we failed, obviously, again, breaking out of 510. And now what I'm seeing, if I zoom into this portion of the chart, and what do you guys see here? Yet again, a head and shoulder. Left shoulder here, head right here, and then the right shoulder is forming. Now that we, again, failed out of 510, failed out of that 50 SMA, we failed breaking out. That is the right shoulder forming, and take a look. That is right at the neckline where we got rejected last time we tested 510, which is where we made that left shoulder right around 510. So needless to say, Netflix is looking decent. I'm not going to lie, if 515 could break, this is a big if we could break this neckline at 510, 515, break into 520, I think that could be a nice momentum play. That could be a runner at that point in time, especially if they do well in terms of earnings as well. That could be great, up to 560, maybe about a 7% move from 520. But I'd be very careful because, again, we're right under this big resistance. It's still a head and shoulder. At this point in time, we haven't broken out yet, so be careful you don't get trapped there. And mind you, with earnings in general, guys, and I've mentioned this before, if you guys are new to the channel, you probably don't know, I am not the biggest fan of buying stocks before earnings, the day before, and gambling on them going up on earnings day after market. That's not my game. I don't like doing that. I much prefer to actually wait until after they report earnings, see the EPS, see the guidance, see the revenue, and then maybe get in afterwards, even if that means I miss a move. I'm okay with missing a move, but what I'm not okay with is getting into the stock before earnings and then getting caught in a drop of 10%, let's say, for example. I've been there. Trust me, I've lost money that way, and I'm not doing it anymore. That's one of my rules. And once you guys, trade, you're in the markets for a while, you start. Over time, you build your own rule book, and it's very important to abide by those rules or you're going to get bit. Let's just be honest about that, right? So watch out for Netflix. Take a look at this head and shoulder. Watch out for earnings. If the right shoulder completes, we could be going anywhere from 475, 480. That could be what happens if, let's say, they have a bad earnings report. So watch Netflix. Intel is another one, INTC, which has completely and utterly exploded in these past couple of trading days. I mean, actually, it's been like a month at this point. Ever since the middle of December in 2020, we hit 46 bucks. Ever since then, this thing has been exploding. It's gone from 46 up to about 60, and they're also reporting earnings on the 21st. So that's in 4 days from today. I believe that's on Wednesday. So watch out for Intel's earnings, and we know that they actually got a new CEO, which is why the stock is erupting here. It's really caused it to go up even higher. It's gone from 51 to about 60 after that news. So new CEO, earnings coming up. Overall, we're breaking this downwards channel on this 4-hour chart, which is great. We also broke out of 53, which was a big resistance, and 56, which also was a big resistance. So I'd honestly look for Intel anywhere between 55, 56. And of course, I'm going to wait until after earnings. Actually, since earnings are on the 21st, this is one that we could play before earnings in anticipation of earnings. So that could be an option, but I'd probably, if I do trade it, I'm not going to hold through earnings. So I might trade before earnings and maybe trade after earnings, but I'm not going to hold through earnings. You guys get the point on that at this point. But yeah, watch Intel 55, 56. That could be an interesting spot. IBM is another one. We haven't talked about IBM in a while, guys. Honestly, it's been a long time. And IBM, we're looking at some interesting action here. We held 124 for a long time, about a month and a half, 124, 125. We consolidated there. And ever since we got that nice squeeze upwards back in the beginning of this year, about a week, 2 weeks ago, on the 4th of January, from 125 up to 130, the uptrend pretty much continued. And we've seen ever since that squeeze upwards a big resistance at 130, but we're uptrending into that resistance at 130, which is looking like a triangle to me, ascending triangle, and you guys can see that. And we have earnings coming up on the 21st as well. Same with Intel here with IBM, earnings on the 21st. So watch out for 130. I think there's I don't want to say a very high likelihood, but I think it's possible, let's say it like that IBM could squeeze out of 130. And take a look. If 130 could squeeze out, the next big resistance I am seeing here is 137. So that could be a move worth watching on IBM. I kind of like that. I'm not going to lie. This is pretty attractive. This is a big candidate for another squeeze upwards. And that's especially if they do well with earnings. I forget. I think, did they have a good earnings report last quarter? I don't remember. By the looks of it, this thing collapsed after the previous earnings. So maybe they didn't have a good earnings report. And that's a good example of why you don't want to buy before earnings, because, hey, you could have got caught in IBM from 125 all the way to 105. Is that where you want to be? Probably not, right? Especially if you're trading short term, not just day trading, but let's say you want to swing trade a one month position, like 1-2 weeks out. That is not where you want to be caught in, right, guys? And another one here is United Health Group, UNH, which is also reporting earnings this week, and it's also looking pretty attractive. I mean, take a look. We're right at 370. Well, we were at 370, which is a resistance. It was the all-time high from back in the beginning of November, and we actually failed claiming a new all-time high at 371 plus back in the beginning of January. We got rejected there, and now we're actually down to 350, right at that 180 SMA support on this 4-hour chart, and earnings are coming up on the 20th pre-market. So this could be a market mover in the morning. Pre-market, they're reporting earnings on the 20th. So watch out for UNH as a potential bounce play off these moving averages on the 4-hour. I think we could easily squeeze back up to 370. I think that's possible. And even out of 370, guys, I'm not saying it's going 400. That's pretty bold. I'm not saying it's going 390 even. But if we could squeeze from 350 to 370, that's a 5% move. And maybe we break out of 370, maybe 375, 380. I think that's possible. So watch UNH and a lot of these healthcare companies. I mean, they're going to be doing a lot better under Joe Biden, let's be honest. So watch out for UNH, a bunch of other ones I'm in, but mostly J&J, I'm in that one, and AbbVie as long-term investments. These are also, they've been doing very well. So watch out for those. Banking stocks, guys, don't forget about the banking stocks. They're also reporting, some of them. Bank of America, BAC, is reporting earnings on the 19th here, 2 days away. That is on Tuesday. And these banking stocks have been crushing it. I mean, Bank of America's gone from $29 to $35. It got very overbought. I mean, I think we talked about them after they rallied here on the 5th, 6th of January. And I said we were overbought at $33 Bank of America, but we got up even higher from there, meaning we got even more overbought. And now we're pulling back. I mean, on Friday, we saw about a 3% pull down. So I'm looking at this 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart for Bank of America. If that breaks and we get anywhere close to $30, I think 30, 31, maybe 32 could be a dip buy here on Bank of America. We also have Morgan Stanley reporting earnings. They're on the 19th as well, or maybe the 20th. 20th is when Morgan Stanley is reporting earnings. So watch out for Morgan Stanley. When did JP Morgan already? Yeah, they did. That's right. They already reported. So watch out for JP Morgan as well. And what are the other big dogs? Wells Fargo, did they report, guys? Yup, they did. And their stock's down, 8% on Friday. So that could be an interesting one, maybe to play. This one got a bit overbought as well, very overbought, arguably. And, it's not really arguable. You guys can see it. And now we're approaching that 180 SMA level on the 4-hour chart. So these banking stocks are interesting. Airlines also, guys, are starting to report earnings this week. We have LUV Southwest. Actually, no, that's wrong. This one's reporting on the 28th, so that's not this week. That's the week after. But I think UAL might be reporting. United Airlines, let me double check that. Yes, they are. So United Airlines, they are reporting on the 21st of this month here, which is this upcoming week. So UAL, watch them. And LUV. LUV broke out of this wedge on the 4-hour. It broke out to about $49, that high from a couple weeks ago in the beginning of December. We failed breaking out of that. We actually sold off a bit from there. On Friday, we went down 4.5%. We are holding the uptrend at about 46, 47. So this is where I think LUV could potentially see a rally right around these moving averages on the 4-hour. So watch out for LUV. Watch out for UAL, and a bunch of airlines, again, are starting to report earnings this week. And IPOE, this is one that is taking SoFi public. We've talked about this one before. Yet again, another Chamath Palihapitiya SPAC here, special purpose acquisition company. How many have we seen this year and last year, 2020? How many SPACs have we seen, guys? I can't even count. There's so many, I can't even count. But IPOE SoFi is definitely one of the hotter ones right now. And on Friday, this thing went up 5.2%. And what you all can notice, if I pull up this hourly chart and zoom in a bit, what we notice here is there was a big resistance at $19.80, $20 in these past 4 or 5 days of trading, and a big support at about $18.50 to about $18.75. So we were trading in this little what do you want to call it, a channel for the past couple of days. And then on Friday, we were testing $19.80, $20, that resistance. We were failing there a little bit, but ultimately we broke right out of it. We smashed right through it, and we went up 5%, and we actually got all the way up to $21. So what that is telling me is IPOE, it consolidated a bit, and now it's breaking back upwards. Momentum is starting to kick back in on the bullish side, which means I think there could be more upside here to 22, and heck, maybe even higher. Who knows? I mean, this SPAC is just now popping off these past couple of days. This could be the beginning. We could be going $30. Nobody really knows. But we just have to watch it. That is IPOE. Another one is Luminar, guys. LAZR. Luminar Technologies. This is one that is in a pretty interesting pattern. What you guys can see here is a wedge. We're making higher lows at the same time as we're making lower highs into this wedge triangle, symmetrical triangle. This kind of looks like a symmetrical triangle as well. And you can see that playing out. And at this point, we don't know what direction it's going to pick, but it is going to pick a direction. In fact, on Friday, it went down 5.6%. So maybe we are starting to see what side it does want to pick, because we're getting closer to break the support of this wedge. But ultimately, we haven't broken it quite yet. We're going towards it, the support, but we haven't broken it. And we have to see what happens this week, because if we end up popping back over 31, maybe we could fill the gap up to 34.50, which is the resistance of the wedge. And from there, I think we could break out much higher. And honestly, I'm more bullish on Luminar than bearish. I don't think we're going to get much lower. And guys, mind you, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to dump under 28 bucks. We could, but honestly, I don't think we are. I think there's more potential to go long on this one, but we haven't gotten confirmation again either way, either on the bullish side nor the bearish side. So we have to be careful, but it's worth watching here. Ticker symbol LAZR. CIIC is yet again another SPAC here, which is much further along the way of breaking out than LAZR is. In fact, CIIC broke out. Obviously, you guys can see it broke out of this wedge, broke out of the 50 SMA on Friday. We went up 2%. The day before that, we went up even more than that. And I think this is just the start of the breakout for CIIC. And honestly, I can see this thing. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I can see this thing going up, filling the gap to about $35, which was that resistance from back in the beginning of December and in the end of December, again, right around 35 bucks. So watch out for CIIC on this breakout. And I have two ones here that I do want to shout out. I made videos on these last week. If you guys want to go check out these individual stock videos, make sure to go check them down below in the description box. And these are Virgin Galactic, SPCE, and Tattooed Chef, TTCF. Both of these I'm watching as well, but I've also talked about these a lot recently, so I don't want to just hammer them down your throat, but I'm watching them as well. I figured you guys should know that, since this is the video where we go over the top stocks for the following week. And again, if you guys want to see an in-depth video on Tattooed Chef, I dive deeper into the company, go check that out down below in the description box. And same thing with Virgin Galactic, that is also linked right down below. So we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to get yourself 4 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100 using that link down below, and you get 4 free stocks. And you could also get $30 free from M1 Finance by simply opening up an account, depositing any amount of money, and that is also linked right down below. Same thing with the Discord chat, which is free, and the Facebook group, also free. Again, everything is linked right down below. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.